The Seattle Mariners finally just made their first big-ish trade of the offseason, the first one of note, and that was acquiring Luis Urias from the Boston Red Sox. In this video, we're going to go over why this happened, what makes sense for the Mariners and why they went out to acquire Luis Urias, and also who they sent back to Boston in this trade. That part I don't love. But hey, Jerry Dipoto and Justin Hollander, guys, they're alive. They actually are out there making trades. It's a good start to the offseason, baby. Today was the tender deadline for teams that had to tender contracts to players. A lot of teams didn't. So the Red Sox are probably not going to tender Luis Urias a contract, and so they traded him to the Mariners instead. He could have been a free agent, but then the Mariners could not have guaranteed that he was going to be on their team. He has to be added to the 40-man roster, of course, and also be tendered contract, of course. And because of that, the Mariners sent back another 40-man guy, and Isaiah Campbell was the other part of the trade. So just a few hours ago, MLB Trade Rumors said Mariners to acquire Luis Urias from the Red Sox, and this came from Alex Spire of the Boston Globe. Right-hander Isaiah Campbell is headed back to Boston in exchange for Luis Urias' services, per Ryan Divish. Campbell was a rookie for the Mariners in 2023 at 25 years old. He pitched to a 2.83 ERA and 28.2 innings pitched. Campbell went on to strike out 33 hitters with a whip of 1.221. Campbell had an ERA plus of 144 in 2023. He was kind of a big part of that bullpen in the second half of the season. It is really a big bummer to see Campbell go. He seemed like a guy who really enjoyed pitching here, and I think he had a really bright future for the Mariners. But why'd they go out and acquire Luis Urias? Luis Urias is a utility infielder. He's played third base, second base, and shortstop. He throws right, bats right, and he is 26 years old, going into his age 27 season next year. Urias will not be a free agent until 2026, and he does have one minor league option left, so the Mariners can send him down to AAA Tacoma if they need to. In 2023, Urias played in only 52 games, where he hit 194, 337, 299 with a 76 OPS plus, but don't let that fool you. He was a pretty good player in the 2 years prior to that, at age 24 and 25. In 2022, he hit 239, 335, 404 with a 108 OPS plus, including 16 home runs, and in 2021, he hit 23 home runs with a 249, 345, 445 slash line with an OPS plus of 112. Urias didn't qualify for a whole lot in 2023 for Baseball Savant, so let's go back to his 2022 numbers here. And yeah, it's nothing great. He does control the strike zone pretty well. His chase rate's in the 80th percentile. His K rate is in the 50th percentile, but he does walk quite a bit as well. He does control the strike zone pretty well for the Seattle Mariners. He doesn't hit the ball all that hard, as we can see here. Looking at his splits in 2022 versus left-handed pitching, he hit 269, 348, 403 with 3 home runs. Versus righties, he hit 226, 329, 404. Definitely a better hitter versus left-handed pitching in 2022, and in 2023, it's kind of more of the same. He hit 292 versus lefties for the Red Sox and 200 versus righties for the Red Sox. The estimate for Luis Urias in 2024 for his arbitration is right around $5 million at 4.7. That is what made him a non-tender candidate in the first place. He, of course, would not have been tendered that contract by the Red Sox. They did not see a fit for him, but for the Mariners, it's very, very different. Listen, obviously this is not like a huge move for the Mariners. It's going to change the offseason, I guess, landscape for them. This is just a move that gives them a bit more bench flexibility, which I think is what this team needs the most, is raise the floor of the bench, because the bench, you cannot have Sam Haggerty, Dylan Moore, I don't know, Brian O'Keefe and whatnot on your bench. You just can't have that in 2024, and I think that Luis Urias does that for you. He gives you more of a platoon guy that you can put at second base with Josh Rojas. You can platoon the two of them over there. It's not great, it's not the best in the world, but it's serviceable. I think Sam Haggerty will be the odd man out, back either in AAA Tacoma or just not with the organization. Dylan Moore, of course, did sign that extension last offseason. I think it makes sense for them, the Mariners, to be able to move Dylan Moore around the infield a little bit more. And instead, when they have a guy like Luis Urias, who, again, can play third base, can play shortstop if you need him to, and, of course, can play second base, is where I think he'll see his most time. This is not a amazing trade, and I do hate losing Isaiah Campbell, and the Mariners do need to go out there and add to their bullpen, but it's a lot easier to find bullpen help in the offseason than it is to go out and find a guy like Luis Urias, who, while not spectacular, is still a guy who's going to help you on that bench. His ability to move around the infield is going to pay dividends for the Seattle Mariners, and I think if he can give Gino a day off at third base, I know you guys love hearing that, and also platoon with Rojas over at second base, I think he is a fine fit. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. This should not stop the Mariners from going out and trying to find a better player for second base. It shouldn't. If Whit Merrifield is available and the Mariners want to go after Whit Merrifield on like a 1 or 2 year deal, then yeah, go get Whit Merrifield. This is just a move for the Mariners that raises the floor of their bench, which is exactly what I wanted them to do coming to this offseason, along with obviously add some bigger name players. But we can't go into 2024 with guys like Tommy La Stella and AJ Pollock on your bench, I think this is a good start for that. I would argue that Luis Urias gives you more flexibility than a Tommy La Stella did going into 2023. It's not a game-changing move, but it is the first big move for the Mariners this offseason. I have a few other moves I think they should make. I have that video on the screen now. Go ahead and check that one out. I appreciate you guys watching this one, and go Mariners.